can't see a thing, Jim.
Well, hold on.
I swear, it's always some damn thing. Wait, got it. Ah, hell, this thing ain't gonna hold.
Shut up.
Damn, you're ugly.
You girls strapped in nice and tight now. Tighter than your mama leg. That's a good one, Mick. Locked in and cruising.
What you got for me out there, Joey Ray?
We got terror for sure. I don't know about the rest. We got a big old buttload of floating debris out here.
We hit pay dirt this time for sure. Explain to me how we gonna get all this home. I'm detached and moving toward the derelict spacecraft.
Damn it, Jim. Video's out again.
Well, quit picking at it.
I ain't picking at it, damn it. I'm out here with a hint of my getting up here and there slapping your jacks. I'm here with your dirty Hold on, I got visual. Get this damn smoking by the back. I'm behind the ship. I'm behind you, Jim.
Welcome to Starcraft, and welcome to a playthrough of Starcraft 1. This is of course not actually Starcraft 1, this is Mass Recall, which is a Starcraft 2 mod that will basically recreate Starcraft 1 in Starcraft 2. It's actually very well done and I've had a lot of recommendations about it. So the first thing we're going to get is a little tutorial and this little intro spiel. So the Terran campaign is called Rebel Yell. In the decades since the end of the Guild Wars, the oppressive Terran Confederacy has stood unchallenged in its supremacy over colonized space. All of that changed 4 days ago when a large alien fleet emerged from warp space and laid waste to the unsuspecting Confederate colony of Chao Sara. The Confederacy, feeling that the alien fleet's next target would be the colony of Mar Sara, has sent you to intervene. Acting as magistrate, you are there to safeguard the colonists and keep the state of panic from escalating any further.
Welcome to Mar Sara, Magistrate. The equipment demonstration you requested is prepared and may be initiated at your convenience. Simply select Start to begin the demonstration. You may skip the demonstration by selecting Skip Tutorial.
Now I'm going to make a bold and terrible assumption that you haven't played StarCraft 1 if you're watching, although I imagine a lot of you have.
Whenever you feel you are ready, you may select Start.
Don't you get snippy with me, young lady. All of StarCraft 1's briefings are done in this style where you get basically talking heads rather than walking around a ship and interacting with a million and one things that you get in StarCraft 2. That was a luxury you couldn't get in 1998, which is when this game came out. And I played the shit out of it. Thank you, Adjutant, for being snippy. Let's hit start so she doesn't keep sniping at us.
The T-280 SCV is the cornerstone of our hostile environment construction and resource gathering operations.
Roger that.
In order to build a thriving colony, numerous SCVs are necessary. You can build additional SCVs at a command center.
Good to go, sir.
So, making the assumption that you are... Oh, for God's sake, Adjutant.
You must have enough supply depots to support them. You can use SCVs to build additional supply depots.
So if you haven't played StarCraft before, basically we mine minerals. Minerals give us these resources here. These are basically the main resources that we require. To get those resources, we make SCVs. Make SCVs out of this building, the command center. It's all very simple. We also use Vespene gas. We're going to build a refinery on this eventually and get some gas. That's the objective of this little tutorial mission. I'm going to skip over a lot of this mission because it will just be a bunch of waiting. And it's very simple mechanics, just as an introduction to the game. You also have all these little tips. These are built into Mass Recall. This, of course, is just a feature of StarCraft 2. So after receiving a transmission, you can press spacebar to center onto the transmission. So we got, this building is complete, so we can center on that if we need to. Unlike StarCraft 1, we can select as many units as we like. StarCraft 1 used to have a unit limit, I think, of 8, I think it was, and then it was 12 in Warcraft 3. And we can also select multiple buildings. We have all the modern conveniences that StarCraft 2 brings with it. We also have all the pretty graphics, but we do have the old music, which is beautiful to listen to. It's an absolutely incredible soundtrack, and it's very distinctive as well.
By the numbers, boys.
Otherwise, let's do a little bit of exploring.
Permission to speak freely, sir. I'm not sure you know what you're doing. If you're going to send us into hostile territory and you want us to defend ourselves, then use the attack command. But if you want us to ignore enemy fire and go exactly to the spot you targeted, then use the move command. Now, which'll it be?
What's up?
So basically he's just telling us that attack move is a thing. Now this is, to me, is hilarious because this is in the tutorial mission. It's already informing him about attack move. And hello, you have a strange alien beast. Now, those of you who played StarCraft 2, I'm assuming that most of you probably have. Zerglings aren't scary in StarCraft 2. StarCraft 1 Zerglings, however, are a force to be frickin' reckoned with. They are absolutely beastly compared to StarCraft 2. This is because in StarCraft 2 they can wrap around units a lot easier. Basically the movement is a lot smarter. In StarCraft 1 the AI was much worse, and so the individual Zergling had to be way more effective. How this is going to shape up in StarCraft 2's engine, I have no idea. I imagine Zerglings are going to be overpowered as hell. Still, these weird little alien creatures are all over this platform. Right now, they don't know.
The refinery processes raw Vespene gas, converting it into a form which your SCVs can gather.
Right now, they don't know what Zerg are. They've just encountered the Protoss as well for the first time, and they just came out of nowhere and blew up Chowsara. That said, StarCraft 1's story is, in my opinion, one of the best around. It's just very nicely told. There's a lot of subtle hints, a lot of very nicely done storytelling, which is weird for a game that came out in the 90s. You've got to understand that back then games did actually have to fall back on good storytelling to just be memorable and be remarkable. You didn't have flashy graphics that often, and the graphics that were around weren't great, so yeah. And also we have to build some supply depots. But I have very vivid memories of playing the hell out of this game when I was a kid, and just absolutely loving it. To me, the smell of leather will forever be associated with StarCraft because we had a leather office chair that I sat in and played the hell out of this game. And I love it so much. Also, finally, there will be a difficulty setting appearing on the later missions. We're going to pick hard for most of them unless I start really struggling. I don't want to make boring videos where I'm just losing over and over again.
This concludes the equipment
Thank you.
demonstration. There will now be a fully catered reception at Marsara Base.
Yay, catered receptions. But if I'm just losing over and over again, that's not fun to watch. And we have this screen that's very reminiscent of the old StarCraft victory screen, including the old victory music. Also, you'll notice this banner. Of course, we are working for the Confederacy, which is kind of hilarious to me how this flag has become a slightly more recent hot topic, shall we say. And we're going to see unidentified creatures. Let's continue our campaign. Mic test.
Adjutant online. Good evening, Magistrate. I'll fill you in on what's been happening. Confederate traffic has increased substantially within the system due to the recent Protoss destruction of the Chowsara colony. The Confederates have tightened security on all outlying systems, and it's likely that this colony will be locked down as well. An encrypted Confederate transmission came for you while you were at dinner. Replaying transmission.
Greetings, Magistrate. I'm General Edmund Duke of the Confederate Security Forces Alpha Squadron. The Confederacy has quarantined this entire planet, and we'll proceed with a lockdown within 48 hours. You're to relocate your core colonists to the outlying wastelands. Now, I know there won't be any problems with these new arrangements.
Transmission ended. I have contacted the local marshal, James Rayner. Rayner has agreed to meet your personnel en route and escort them to the new wasteland site.
What's up? You got it.
Can't believe we're being sent to the wasteland. These Confederates think they can push anybody around.
And that is something I love, that little touch there. Basically giving you that little bit of extra narrative, where it seems like people aren't too happy with Confederate rule.
Gangway.
Howdy, boys. I'm Jim Rayner, marshal of these parts. This is Jimmy.
And so now we have a very punishing objective. Jim Rayner must survive, and this is going to be a recurring theme throughout the game. We're going to be given these hero units that are very powerful, but they have to survive, and as such, it becomes a real risk to use them, basically. Now, because this game does use Starcraft 1's engine and
Not
stats,
enough minerals.
we basically have to rely on their way of doing things. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Starcraft 2 has two types of units. There are light units and armored units. Starcraft 1 has light, medium and heavy. So for example, Rayner rides a Vulture Bike. Vulture Bikes are very good against light units, such as this Zergling, but is very bad against medium and large units. Marines are kind of good against everything, they're all-rounders, but certain units have very specific damage ranges. Now this is another tutorial mission. We're going to be building a barracks, making 10 Marines, and Rayner has to survive. We can do a little bit of exploring around and do some shooting, but there's really no incentive to do so. That said, there are a few changes in Mass Recall to make doing extra things a little bit more incentivized. One mission in particular stands out. I did try the campaign out a little bit, and we'll go into that when we get there.
SCV good to go, sir.
But for now, we're just going to be making SCVs and preparing.
This should be good.
Again, do a little bit of exploration. Rain is actually kind of easy to use because you can repair a Vulture Bike. So even if he takes damage, we can heal it up,
This should be good.
which is nice.
Roger that.
Go ahead, Commander. Right on.
Now, if I do lose a Marine, I actually do believe that the counter for training Marines goes down. I have to just make 10 Marines, and basically that condition is have 10 Marines at any given time.
Oh, yeah.
Let's make it easy for ourselves. Let's build 2 barracks.
Anytime you're ready. Right on.
But right now, we don't know what these are. They are still listed as unidentified creatures. Of course, we can click them and see, hey, these are Zerglings. What the hell's a Zergling? Now, if you were paying attention in the briefing, you might also have noticed something very weird happening, which is that we were told that the planet is under quarantine. Now, the Protoss, or these unknown alien armada that's appeared, it's coming out and destroying worlds, or at least destroyed Chowsara.
Be trained at this facility.
We don't need to quarantine against that. You know, they arrive and they blow us up. But these little aliens, these are a bit stranger. I wonder if they're somehow related. Of course, I know the story of this game. I think it's a really nice little story that goes with this game. And I absolutely love it. StarCraft 2, less so. There are things in StarCraft 2's story that I do like, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of things I don't like about it. And I think that, to me, the big difference between the story in this game and the story in StarCraft 2 is this game, it's about 3 factions that are vying for resources expansion and just existing. And StarCraft 2 is some sort of, you know, massive stakes space opera that just doesn't work, in my opinion. To me, StarCraft was a lot more interesting when it was about 3 factions fighting each other, just for reasons that, you know, they're culturally different and just can't coexist, basically. That, and also, to me, StarCraft's strength is in its characters. So we have Jim Rayner here, and we're going to have a few others. And in StarCraft 2, they do change a few of the characters and how they behave, and that pissed off a lot of people as well. But we'll get to learn why as we progress through the game.
Receiving incoming transmission. Comlink established.
Hey, what's up, man? Got your refugees tucked in nice and tight? Provided you can sidestep any more surprises from our Confederate friends and we can keep them away from those critters, they should have an easy time.
Priority alert. Backwater station under attack by unknown alien organisms. Distress beacon activated at 0658. Alerting Confederate headquarters on Tarsonis. Stand by for incoming transmission.
We've already received the distress beacon from Backwater, and we'll take care of it. You just sit tight. You'll be notified if there's anything we think you need to know.
Damn! Listen, if we wait for Confederate reinforcements, that station's dust. I'll head out there now and do what I can. You send in some militia, and we'll save those folks. Trust me.
So first thing we're going to do is set this to hard, and again we can see that the Confederates kind of smug, laid back. He's telling us, oh, if you need to know something, we'll let you know. Jim Raynor, man of action, wants to leap in and save the day. Help the little guy. Now this is a feature of mass recall, of course. The Starcraft 1 engine looks vastly different. It's isometric first off, not three-dimensional. But they do these nice little pans, and I actually really like them. They just set the tone for the mission.
Glad to see you, boys. Time to kick some serious butt. Go ahead, Commander. This is Jimmy.
It's also worth mentioning now that the model for Raynor, the original StarCraft 1 portrait, I'll find a picture of it and put it up on screen, looks vastly different than StarCraft 2. That said, the StarCraft 2 Raynor is actually based off a piece of concept art in the StarCraft 1 manual. So it's kind of interesting that they've gone to bounce back and forth on how Raynor looked.
SCV good to go, sir.
Raynor here. You need to...
And this is going to be the first real mission. Now, most missions will start with this kind of build-up phase where we're just building SCVs and building Marines and getting ready to go. Also, the more eagle-eyed of you will have noticed that there's two extra options here. We can make Firebats and Medics.
Not enough minerals.
And the people who played StarCraft 1 will know that Medics aren't actually a part of StarCraft 1. They came in Brood War. There is an option to turn off Brood War units in the StarCraft 1 campaign, but I kind of like having them available. I think they'll just speed up the missions that little bit extra without being too unfair on edge, and we'll just make it that little bit more interesting to watch. That said, Medics are incredibly strong, but they have a prerequisite, which is the Academy, which we cannot actually build. Mystery. This is the first real mission, I would say, in the game.
Sounds fun.
So let's go poke our nose out.
Yeah, what the hell is that? Looks like the ground there is alive. Right on. Oh yeah. This is Jimmy.
Raynor is actually really powerful. He's incredibly good at killing Zerglings, and it's one of the best uses for him is just using him to clean that stuff up, basically. Hey, welcome to Backwater Station.
For the rescue. We've been holed up in these bunkers for days hiding from the Zerg.
These things have been out here a while, but they could be pretty useful.
So let's set these guys
Not
up.
enough minerals.
And now we have an academy, which is what we really need. So Firebats. Firebats are going to be a godsend in these early missions. So just like the Zerglings are very powerful, Firebats are also going to be really powerful here. Extremely powerful against light units, especially a clump of Firebats can just really do work. And we're going to be relying on them pretty heavily.
This is Jimmy.
To do a lot of good. We're also going to get stim pack research.
Not enough minerals.
Slowly get some more minerals in. You'll also notice that the mineral clumps are like little patches here. Let's transfer actually. Let's get a bunch of SCVs evenly spread out.
Go ahead,
they'll actually start being the more familiar sort of art shapes later on, but for now it looks like they've gone for like a semi-realistic thing where minerals grow in clumps. And to me that's adorable, because in later games they just abandon that and they're always in these nice little cones, or not cones, little archways that are perfect for mining from.
You gonna give me orders?
And this is where medics are just insanely good.
Mineral field depleted. Research complete.
I'm gonna fill this bunker up because I do know that Zerg actually do attack from this angle and they just run straight up here for some reason. So I'm gonna do the same that I did for these bunkers, and I'm gonna empty these bunkers eventually when we push out this way.
Additional supply depots required.
As we get our supply depot, an NG bay up and running. We're probably not actually gonna have time to use the NG bay fully. Another supply depot up and running. And we have the upgrade. We have stim, which is what we need because we're going to be building medics.
Base.
Shit. Wrong. I'm going to do is set this guy on auto repair and patrol. And yeah, one of my units got caught running between bases.
Mineral field depleted.
We're just going to make a shitload of marines.
Not enough minerals.
Get this range upgrade
Not enough
on the way.
minerals.
Rainer here.
Where does it hurt?
Been waiting on you. Want a piece of me?
And let's get
Sounds
a
fun.
bunch of marines up and ready to go.
Right on.
I should probably stop building SCVs,
Reporting for duty.
especially out of this space, we don't need them. Get attack upgrade,
Armed and
Not enough
a couple more
minerals.
marines, and let's see about heading out. What I'm going to do is drop a mine here.
Oh yeah. That's it, Jimmy.
Stem! This is one reason why medics I think are really goddamn powerful in this version, is because you didn't originally get them, so basically it makes stim that much stronger. It makes stim ridiculously powerful in fact. Let's get these units out. Fortunately you can't salvage the bunkers, which you can do in the previous
better be good.
versions.
Sounds fun.
Fueled up.
What salvage does is it gives you the cost of the bunker as a refund.
Upgrade complete.
Right on.
Where are my units? Oh, there's Raynor. I thought I'd lost Raynor. We blended in with the creep for a moment. So I'm just going to stim. Just do some stutter step. And our mission objective is up that ramp.
Rainer here.
Gangway coming through.
Now, it's no great spoiler to say that I know a lot of these missions by heart, especially the early Terran missions, which I probably played the most. Some of the later Protoss and Zerg ones I know a little bit less well. The Brood War ones I actually know even less. And that's because a lot of the Brood War missions are actually quite long.
Right on.
And they generally build up a base and then kill the enemy. Let's push it up. These upgrades or one armor, that makes sense. And hey, these buildings are probably unfamiliar. These are creep colonies. They are used to spread the creep,
Mineral field
and they are basically vital for Zerg. And they upgrade into the defensive buildings, which are spine crawlers and spore colonies. Not spine crawlers. Spine crawlers are Starcraft 2.
Burn it, boys.
Sunken colonies, sorry, and spore colonies. And they're the defensive buildings for the Zerg. They're actually pretty effective as well. I think they two-shot Marines.
This should be good.
But we just got to blow this up, and that's mission complete. Mission 3 done.
receiving incoming transmission.
Marshal Raynor, by destroying the vital Confederate installation, you and your men have violated standard colonial law. As of right now, you're all under arrest. I suggest you throw down your weapons and come peaceably.
Are you out of your mind? If we hadn't burned that damn factory, this entire colony could have been overrun. Maybe if you hadn't taken your sweet time in getting here.
Now, I asked you nice the first time, boy. I didn't come here to talk with you. Now throw down them weapons.
Guess you wouldn't be a Confederate if you weren't a complete pain in the ass.
So, shock. We destroy that infested base, save the colony, and we get arrested for it because it was a Confederate base that we destroyed.